The biology teacher said in class, crocodiles can evolve into flood dragons. Without hesitation, I swallowed a baby crocodile alive in front of everyone. It tossed and turned wildly in my stomach. Suddenly, it bit my inflamed appendix and kept rolling around. It hurt so bad I almost pinched dragons and phoenixes out of my philtrum. All because a global mutation is about to happen. Humans will gain the talents of plants and animals they eat before the mutation. Some turned into mutated beasts that are half human and half animal. Some became beast tamers who can control fierce animals. Others awakened as super martial armor warriors with powerful combat power. In my previous life, I ate a beef ball with soup before the red light appeared, but I mutated into a cow with bovine prostate problems. During battles, I was literally killed by holding back my urine. But this baby crocodile from the biology class in my previous life evolved into a terrifying purple thunder flood dragon. Now I'm reborn. 10 minutes before the global mutation, the biology teacher is explaining the crocodile evolution theory. I quickly stood up and rushed to the podium. Looking at the baby crocodile in the breeding box, this is the crocodile that became the mutated flood dragon in my previous life. The entire Shanghai University became its playground. Only 5 people, including me, escaped from all the teachers and students. I quickly took out the crocodile and held it in my palm. The crocodile was only the size of my palm. It struggled desperately with a silly look. In front of everyone, I picked up the pinkish baby crocodile and swallowed it. It struggled and bit frantically in my stomach and intestines. I endured the pain and looked at my phone, waiting for the global mutation in 1 minute. The whole class stared at me dumbfounded. They were too scared to recover for a long time. Suddenly, the sun at the center of the universe exploded. An electromagnetic storm swept across the entire solar system, sweeping through with an unknown power. In an instant, all equipment stopped working. The thermal weapons that humans were so proud of became a burden at this moment. The world was plunged into endless darkness. A blood-red moon hung high in the sky. I could feel my own blood boiling, evaporating and condensing into liquid repeatedly. My bones broke and healed again, like a melting pot, emitting intense heat. That indescribable severe pain, sweat soaked my entire body. The phone stopped working as if by magic. My body was covered with blue fluorescent scales. A pair of dragon horns grew on my head. 2 dragons lay on my back. Purple ki lingered around my body. Purple electric arcs flickered. And I gained the innate abilities of Zixiao Divine Thunder and Devour. The user of Zixiao Divine Thunder can release powerful thunder and lightning, summon wind and rain, move mountains and seas. Even destroying immortals and killing gods is not impossible. Devour allows eating other combatants, with a chance to obtain their innate supernatural powers. I slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air. The scales on my body and the horns on my head all disappeared. I returned to my human form, feeling the power of the first rank after mutation. I looked happily at the little flood dragon in my palm. It was snoring soundly, lying on my hand. "This is mine. From now on, I'll call you Grandpa." I stroked the little flood dragon in my palm and said softly, as if telepathically. The little flood dragon suddenly opened its eyes, stared at me venomously in protest, but I ignored its protest directly. Suddenly, a sharp scream was heard. What the hell is going on here? Why did everyone turn into monsters? The monitor Li Weiwei, who was standing in place, after a while, found that many classmates had started to mutate. Even the teacher sitting in the front row was mutating. Violent energy poured into people's bodies. If one's will is not firm enough, they will be devoured by this energy, eventually turning into inhuman beasts. Scarlet moonlight poured into the classroom. The dark classroom suddenly became as bright as day. Liu Qiang, a wealthy second-generation school bully with a prominent background. His clothes suddenly burst open. His body kept expanding. Brown fur covered his entire body. The serrated fangs in his mouth were terrifying. He looked exactly like a humanoid wild boar. "Food, I want." "Food," Liu Qiang muttered in a low voice. Everyone in the classroom could hear it. He swallowed his companion next to him in one bite. Along with the chewing in his mouth, the harsh sound of bones being crushed could be heard. Occasionally, pungent blood splattered out. Most of the young college students in the classroom could withstand the impact of the energy to some extent, and did not turn into inhuman alien beasts. Liu Qiang's ferocious and brutal scene scared the students present badly. What's worse, there was a strong smell of urine below. One of Liu Qiang's underlings pointed at me and said, "Brother Qiang, wake up quickly." Did he scare you? Hearing their discussions, I sneered and looked at them with interest. Then Liu Qiang's 2 huge hands suddenly grabbed the necks of the 2 of them. Their legs kicked wildly. Their hands slapped Liu Qiang's arms hard. Liu Qiang's eyes were always scarlet. It was obvious that the mutation energy had taken over his body. Just as Liu Qiang was about to put the two classmates into his mouth, suddenly a figure rushed out of the darkness. Its pupils emitted green, ghostly light, covered in black fur all over. Its eyes stared firmly at Liu Qiang in front of it. Seeing the alien beast that appeared, I couldn't help but be shocked. Nightcat Demon. How is this possible? A first-rank Nightcat Demon, although it becomes a monster that can be soloed in the later stages. But in the early stages of the mutation, it's definitely a boss-level alien beast. There's another important reason. It can see everything in the dark. But humans who just mutated in the early stages, most can't skillfully use their own innate supernatural powers. And in the dark state, although the range will increase with the improvement of level, but in the early stages it's much worse than the Nightcat Demon. When encountering a nimble Nightcat Demon that ignores darkness, humans naturally need to be careful at all times. I immediately became alert in my heart, carefully looked at the Nightcat Demon in front of me, quietly released my perception. I found that this cat demon lying on the ground carried a faint human aura on its body, which means it also transformed from a human. I then searched the crowd present, but found some cat hair in the front row. Suddenly it dawned on me. This Nightcat Demon is the teacher transformed. Before I could think further, whoosh! The Nightcat Demon in front of me disappeared in an instant. The next second it appeared in midair, waving its sharp claws, slashed hard at Liu Qiang's mutated wild boar head. His rough and thick face. Immediately 6 streams of blood spurted out. Liu Qiang let out a pig-killing scream. I knew exactly what the Nightcat Demon's purpose was. It wanted to defeat the half-beast Liu Qiang. Eating him would almost allow it to reach the 2nd rank. By then, not to mention humans, even all the alien beasts in the entire Shanghai city, would probably not be its opponent. Liu Qiang, who felt the pain, threw the 2 classmates in his hands like cannonballs. After 2 loud bangs, unfortunately neither hit the Nightcat Demon, but the 2 classmates were stuck firmly on the wall, in a miserable state, missing twice completely enraged Liu Qiang. He then pulled up the steps fixed on the ground. He waved the 2 steps with great momentum. Besides ignoring darkness, the Nightcat Demon's characteristic is its extremely agile reaction speed. Liu Qiang's wide and unrestrained movements seemed to be slowed down dozens of times in the cat demon's eyes. Avoiding its attacks was an easy task. It even scratched Liu Qiang's body several times, although he gained the wild boar's characteristics, rough and thick defense, and immense attack power. But being attacked was still annoying. He strode forward, forcing the Nightcat Demon into the corner of the classroom. The space became smaller and smaller. The Nightcat Demon had no room to dodge. Liu Qiang raised the step high. With a loud boom, he smashed it down. One of the Nightcat Demon's legs was broken. The Nightcat Demon let out a scream and fought back with all its strength. Its sharp claws waved wildly at Liu Qiang's face. Seeing the right moment, I no longer hid my strength. I entered a fighting state, covered by colorful scales. I pulled out 2 knife handles from the double halberds on my back. 2 knives formed by dragon heads. The divine weapon, double halberd thunder knives. The blade was as smooth as jade, but electric arcs were jumping on it. Zixia Divine Thunder. I suddenly burst into action. The double halberd thunder knives were surrounded by endless purple lightning. I leaped up, stabbing fiercely at the beastified Liu Qiang from the air. The blades sank into his body. Purple thunderbolts surged in instantly, unleashing a violent burst of energy. The beastified Liu Qiang's body was blown apart directly. Shattered pieces scattered everywhere. A faint burnt smell lingered in the air. The wild boar's characteristics weren't too shabby as an innate ability. Besides, Liu Qiang had always bullied me before. This strike settled the score. The Nightcat Demon trembled as it looked at me. Anger filled its eyes, as if saying, "You sneaky bastard. You've been hiding so damn deep." Purple electric arcs crisscrossed the classroom ceiling, illuminating the entire classroom brightly. Seeing the Nightcat Demon's anger, I just smiled faintly. Immediately summoned my mimic battle spirit, Lei Jiao. "Uncle Lei, devour it for me." Seeing the flood dragon in my palm, the Nightcat Demon stood up in full terror. Since it had broken a leg, it immediately collapsed to the ground again. The flood dragon, upon receiving the order, first glared at me. Then its body grew larger, swallowing the Nightcat Demon in one bite. As the flood dragon swallowed the Nightcat Demon, I also felt a pure surge of energy in my body. I had already leveled up from rank 1 to rank 2, and gained a new innate ability, Nightcat Eyes. just as I was about to study it in detail. The classroom door was smashed loudly, accompanied by a shrill plea for help. The terrified crowd finally came to their senses. Through the glass, they saw a girl. Her clothes were tattered and torn, covered with countless claw marks. Blood had dyed her clothes red. She looked extremely miserable. At this moment, Monitor Li Weiwei's maternal instinct went into overdrive. She was about to push away the cabinet blocking the classroom door, but a big hand stopped her. "Don't open the door!" I grabbed Li Weiwei's arm tightly. Through the small window of the classroom, I noticed something unusual about the girl. But I couldn't be certain at that moment. I planned to observe a little longer, to see if it was really as I suspected. After all, the apocalypse had arrived. Danger lurked everywhere. Any decision could plunge one into life or death peril. Moreover, all plants and animals would mutate in the apocalypse. Even gods, ghosts, and monsters from mythological books had descended upon the world at the same time, although I hadn't experienced these in my previous life. I had heard of them. That kind of mysterious creature was the most terrifying. "Let go of me right now. Do you know how dangerous she is right now? I order you in the name of the Monitor. Get out of our class." "Room?" Li Weiwei seemed to have forgotten what had just happened. She shouted insults at me. Several girls in the classroom who were on good terms with Li Weiwei also chipped in. Standing on Li Weiwei's side, I bet he's just scared, because there's only one person outside the corridor, yet he's acting like this. "If you won't save her, then leave me alone." They mocked me with extremely vulgar words, as if completely unaware that the world had changed. The boys who had already noticed something was wrong remained silent at this moment, because they also felt the changes in their bodies. Their gazes towards me turned from admiration to disdain. They held the thought that if I could do it, they could do it too. Hearing Li Weiwei and the others' intentional insults, I felt a surge of anger in my heart. Immediately, my eyes turned cold. I scanned everyone present with a gaze like I was looking at the dead. "I already gave you a chance. Don't blame me then." Having said that, I made up my mind, quickly pulled back my hand, kicked the classroom door to pieces and slipped out. Suddenly, an invisible force appeared. The girl outside the door flew out like a cannonball, slamming firmly against the wall, and a crater even formed in the wall. It was at that exact moment, through my night cat eyes, I finally saw her abnormality clearly. Faint spider silk loomed behind her. Countless spider silks controlled every meridian in her body. There was only one possibility for this. It was the legendary Rank 2 alien beast, the Puppet Lord Spider, controlling puppets, luring companions into traps. This was the Puppet Lord Spider's usual way of killing. I quickly entered the next classroom and locked the door behind me. In my memory, Rank 2 alien beast wouldn't appear until 2 weeks later. Could it be that rebirth caused a butterfly effect? This made me realize the importance of leveling up quickly. At this moment, shrill screams came from the next classroom. The girl embedded in the wall suddenly raised her head. Her pale face and cloudy white pupils looked like a terrifying ghost. Her head rotated 360 degrees. Her limbs were weak and limp, moving in a completely uncoordinated manner. A creepy laugh escaped her throat. She was like a walking corpse, under the control of the spider silk. She walked step by step towards her good sisters. Seeing this scene, the several girls who had spoken up earlier were terrified and tried to run, but it was already too late. Sticky spider silk shot out from her mouth. Gluing their feet to the ground, the good sisters burst into tears, shouting, "Please spare me. I'll tell you. It was Liu Jiajia who stole your large band-aids. Xiaoting, your ex-boyfriend's current girlfriend is actually Li Shanshan, and when you two were still together, she was secretly seeing your ex-boyfriend." I stood aside eating sunflower seeds and sighed, quickly spat out the seeds, almost choking on them. I didn't expect I'd get such juicy gossip while watching the show, no matter how much they begged for mercy. It was useless in front of the Puppet Lord Spider. She crawled on the ground. Her head rotated to her back, showing a pale face, giggling wildly. Suddenly a cold wind blew, coupled with that ghostly laugh. It really created a terrifying atmosphere. The remaining students' clothes were soaked with sweat. Immediately, the other students fled in panic. The girls retreated in alarm. The boys, however, were the opposite. They were eager to try, all wanting to test their awakened talents. Shouting, crawling on the ground, chased out of the classroom. The students whose feet were stuck to the ground were now corroded by the venom on the spider silk, their fates unknown. She used all 4 limbs. Quickly crawling outside the classroom door, I, standing by the window of another classroom, felt my stomach churning violently. Her face was pale and bloodless. Green sticky substance oozed from her eyes. Her limbs moved completely out of sync when walking. She looked abnormal no matter how you saw it. Now I could be completely certain this puppet lord spider was definitely born from human resentment. Alien beasts in the world were roughly divided into two types. One type evolved from original plants and animals. Their overall abilities weren't too strong. Among tens of millions of alien beasts, very few could develop intelligence. The other type was extraordinary from the moment they became alien beasts. They were often born from human resentment. The stronger the resentment, the stronger they became. Some could even retain their original human wisdom, but they would be driven by resentment. The Xiaoting in front of me was just a puppet of the puppet lord spider. Everyone, don't be afraid. There's only one of her, and we're the legendary awakened ones. I've been wanting to test my awakened ability. I awakened the wild bull's talent. Lao Wang, what talent did you awaken? Lao Wang, who was usually quite lively, instead became shy and awkward at this moment. He hesitated to speak. After repeated urging from everyone, he finally spoke shyly. My talent is the teddy's trait. I can do it 100 times a day. When the girls heard the word teddy, they couldn't help but cover their mouths and snicker. Only the boys on both sides cast envious glances. At this moment, Lao Wang was like a god in the hearts of all the boys. Invincible in bed? That's something countless people envy. As they spoke, Xiaoting, the crawling puppet, had already walked up to them. Boys in front? Girls behind. Let me do it. Before a boy could finish his sentence, he was caught by a spider web woven from silk, stuck to the wall. The courage that the others had just mustered disappeared without a trace at this moment. But puppet Xiaoting wouldn't give them a chance. She sprayed spider silk from her mouth like it was free. Many students were captured before they could even use their talents. At this moment, only Li Weiwei was left in the corridor. Looking at her former good sister in front of her, who now looked so ugly, she felt a wave of nausea. The cold wind carried an unpleasant stench of rotting corpses. Li Weiwei's voice trembled with sobs. She slowly stepped back. At the critical moment, she suddenly remembered me, who had just killed the nightcat demon and the half-beast Liu Qiang. She didn't hesitate any longer, turned around and rushed towards the nearby classroom, but found that the door was already locked from the inside, and a figure appeared in the small window on the door. She took a closer look, and found it was me. In great danger, she patted the classroom door frantically. She said anxiously, "Open the door quickly." "It's me, Li Weiwei." In this situation, Li Weiwei didn't forget to pull her collar open a little wider, revealing the part she was usually proud of. I just said, "Oh," and didn't respond. But my eyes were fixed on that part the whole time. I couldn't help but exclaim in my heart. So white and so big. I know I was wrong just now. I apologize to you. As long as you open the door, I'll agree to anything. Hearing the footsteps behind her, Li Weiwei became even more scared. She even resorted to sacrificing her body. Originally, she thought there were many people on her side. Even if they encountered any danger, she could rely on their numbers to get through it, then find the official rescue organization, and her safety would be guaranteed. That's why she drove me away so recklessly. She never thought that within half a meter of walking out of the classroom, her entire group would be wiped out. Only then did she realize how powerful I was. So she immediately came to find me. "Your body is worthless in my eyes. I already gave you a chance earlier, but you didn't cherish it. Who's to blame for that?" I didn't move. Instead, I mocked her. "Are you just going to stand by and watch your classmates get killed? If you do, I'll never let you go even as a ghost." Li Weiwei dropped her hypocritical mask. Her expression turned ferocious. Her venomous gaze stared at me intensely. Hearing her words, I just found it funny. This scene felt somewhat familiar. She always had to stand on the moral high ground to judge others, as if she were the judge. "Classmate, when you drove me away earlier, did you ever think that I'm also your classmate?" At the end of my words, my voice suddenly rose several times. The sound of bones breaking drew closer and closer. Sticky spider silk wrapped around Li Weiwei in an instant. Toxins were injected into her body through the silk, wrapped layer upon layer in silk. She looked like a cocoon. The puppet lord. Spiders are very picky about their food. They only like to eat fresh live prey, and this spider silk can keep the prey fresh. The controlled Zhao Ting stumbled over. Her bones were broken and only connected by tendons. The sound of her scraping against the ground was unusually shrill in the empty corridor. Suddenly, her head rotated 360 degrees. Her eyes suddenly locked onto me. A sense of crisis welled up in me. As the saying goes, he who strikes first gains the advantage. He who strikes later suffers the consequences. I didn't hesitate at all. My body had already formed an instinctive reaction. Kicked open the classroom door with one foot. Due to the narrow space, she couldn't dodge and was hit squarely by the door. Against the wall, 2 purple thunderbolts pierced her head. Crack! Her head split in 2. A small spider fell out of her brain. At the same time, a stinking green liquid oozed out. This small spider was the mastermind controlling Xiaoting. It sucked brain marrow and lived in her skull, controlling Xiaoting's body through spider silk, and its mother, the puppet lord spider, controlled it through mental power. I held the double halberd thunder knives across my chest, stepped forward cautiously to check the situation. Suddenly, electric arcs erupted on the thunder knives. The small spider on the ground exploded with a boom. Only then did I let down my guard. Being so cautious, I had no other choice. This type of small spider is no less agile than the nightcat demon. What's more deadly is that it can spray nerve-paralyzing spider silk. One mistake, and I would only end up as a puppet. So even as a reborn person, I didn't dare to be careless. Moreover, this puppet lord spider's strength had improved a lot in just a few minutes. It was faintly showing signs of advancing to rank 3. Clearly, I had concealed my aura just now, but I was still discovered by the puppet. It seemed that the puppet lord spider in Shanghai University was not as simple as an ordinary rank 2 alien beast. Suddenly, a shrill singing voice echoed through the empty corridor. Cold wind blew along with the singing, making the classroom doors and windows creak. Hiding in the pitch-black corners, the more timid students turned pale with fear at the eerie female voice, their bodies trembling. Some even screamed in terror. The cries attracted the attention of the puppet spider. In the next second, the cries stopped abruptly, replaced by low silk-spinning sounds. Seeing this, the others tried their best to control their voices, praying that the puppet spider wouldn't find them. I didn't want to wait for death like them. I was determined to get this puppet lord spider. Whether it was for gaining talents or leveling up, I had to eliminate the puppet lord spider in front of me. Otherwise, once it grew stronger, I wouldn't even have the qualification to walk out of Shanghai University. I still had to go to the city hospital to find my sister. But before killing the puppet lord spider, I had to first clean up its puppets, preventing it from growing stronger. A children's song echoed around the campus. I controlled my aura and followed the sound. If my memory was correct, a rank 2 puppet lord spider only had 2 puppets, which meant it only had 1 left now. I climbed up to the rooftop. The situation on campus was now clearly visible. Using my talent, Nightcat Eyes, my eyesight was greatly enhanced. The dormitory buildings hundreds of meters away seemed right in front of me. My gaze scanned the first few dormitory buildings, but I didn't find any trace of the puppet. I then turned my head to look at several teaching buildings. Suddenly, I spotted a strangely walking figure heading towards the underground garage of the teaching building. Soon, I also appeared in the underground garage. Concealing my aura, I observed the parking lot carefully, which was originally full of cars, now covered with spider webs everywhere. Many oval cocoons wrapped in silk. Some were hanging from the ceiling. Some were stuck to the spider webs. There were also many dried corpses lying on the ground. From their death conditions, it was not difficult to tell. They all had their essence and blood sucked dry. Seeing this scene, I was shocked. I had inadvertently found the puppet lord's territory, and the scene in front of me shocked me greatly. The dense crowd in front of me must have numbered over 1,000. I couldn't imagine how high its level would rise. If this lord spider ate all of them, suddenly a figure moved in the darkness. A huge spider with 8 fluffy legs, entirely black, with a humanoid body on its head. Scarlet pupils walked quickly on the spider webs, as if walking on flat ground. It came to 3 cocoons and landed, dragged them on its back and walked towards the ground. At this moment, 3 girls were tied to the ground with spider silk. The puppet lord carried the cocoons and came before them. It blinked its eyes. One of its huge legs pushed the cocoons toward the 3 girls. Tears streamed uncontrollably down the 3 girls' faces. They stared in horror at the puppet lord spider in front of them, kicking their legs frantically backward. Their resistance was obvious, but the spider silk on their bodies kept them fixed in place. "Xiaobei, I'm begging you on my knees. We shouldn't have bullied you. Can you spare us?" The 3 girls sobbed and begged for mercy, their bodies trembling. Hearing the commotion, My instinct to eavesdrop drove me. I couldn't help but lean closer to listen. Why aren't you eating? I specially prepared these for you. The puppet lord spider, known as Xiao Bei, questioned sharply. Its 8 huge legs moved back and forth. The 3 girls were too scared to make a sound. The scene fell into silence for a moment. Xiao Bei, in her alien beast form, suddenly let out a weird laugh and said, "I thank you very much. If you hadn't forced me to eat spiders today, I would never have evolved into this form. Are you satisfied now?" Although she said it was thanks, it sounded creepy. Witnessing everything, I immediately understood. Those 3 girls often bullied the girl named Xiao Bei, and today they even forced her to eat live spiders. For a girl, what a severe psychological shadow this would cause. No wonder the puppet lord spider in front of me had such deep resentment. I continued to eavesdrop, not letting my guard down. Watching everything unfold, Xiao Bei picked up a cocoon. Her sharp, huge legs slid open the cocoon's silk. A human head fell to the ground along with it. She held the cocoon with her hands, as if holding a coconut. Scarlet blood spurted out. She held the cocoon out to the 3 girls, telling them to drink it. Even though I had escaped death several times, I couldn't help but mutter in my heart, "She's crazy." It was the aura change caused by my emotional fluctuation. That was detected by the puppet lord spider. Who's there? Its powerful mental power allowed the puppet lord spider to perceive every tiny change in the environment. Seeing that I didn't make a sound, the puppet lord spider leaped into the air, landing on the car where I had been hiding just now. Its sharp, huge legs tore the car to pieces. I dodged to the side, feeling a surge of fear. While evading, a streak of purple lightning shot out from my fingertips. The lightning hit the spider's huge leg. Its hard black exoskeleton easily blocked my attack. Suddenly, the spider's abdomen squirmed. It sprayed a cloud of white mist into the air. When it came into contact with the air, the white mist immediately turned into spider silk and rushed toward me. At that moment, I gripped the double halberds tightly. A huge flood dragon phantom appeared behind the thunder knives. My entire body entered combat mode. I took a big step forward, advancing instead of retreating, because the best defense is offense. Several streaks of spider silk came from different directions. I swung the thunder knives, cutting the spider silk into pieces. Zixiao divine thunder traveled along the spider silk. Crackling, sparks appeared on the spider silk, then blazing flames spread along the spider silk. Seeing this, the puppet lord spider hastily spat out the remaining spider silk. This was one of my tricks. The puppet lord spider's greatest fear was fire attacks, and Zixiao divine thunder had a chance to ignite flames as it frantically cut off the spider silk. The flames splashed everywhere. In the next second, the parking lot instantly turned into a sea of fire. At this moment, I quickly ran outside, with a backhand sweep of purple thunder knife light, blocking the lord spider that was trying to escape. The powerful flames instantly engulfed it. "No!" the puppet lord spider shouted unwillingly. Flames shot into the sky. Thick smoke drifted outward. The school was suddenly brightly lit as if it were daytime. The situation here could be seen from the urban area. I don't know how long the fire burned. It finally stopped. With the help of the battle spirit flood dragon in my hand, a layer of water covered my body. I walked leisurely through the fire scene. The dense figures had long since turned to ashes, and the puppet lord spider was burned bright red, completely cooked through. The aroma of meat filled the air. The flood dragon in my palm was eager to try, perhaps because it had never eaten cooked food before. It acted so anxiously. I nodded. The flood dragon immediately jumped onto the spider and gorged itself, as if I was going to steal its food. After a while, I felt my new innate ability, mental power control. It allows communication with other creatures, through mental power, and even control their bodies. This talent is really good. At this moment, my strength has reached the peak of rank 2. The huge campus was empty now. I walked slowly to the gate of Shanghai University, glanced back at this human university, which would now be reduced to dust in history. No longer hesitating, I headed to the city hospital. This life, I must protect my sister well. The blood-red moon hung high, triggering abnormal celestial phenomena. Under the night sky, I walked on the road to the urban area with a backpack on my back. Cars were parked everywhere on the open road, but they were all empty inside. Some cars were engulfed in blazing flames. There were many signs of fighting on the road. The glorious human civilization became so dilapidated in just a few hours. I arrived at the city hospital as fast as I could. I still didn't know how my sister was doing. A bad premonition lingered in my heart. "Hey, buddy, come over and give me a hand." A man called for help from me in the darkness. The man pulled hard on the deformed car door, trying to open it. Inside the car, a woman with disheveled hair panicked, patting the car door frantically. Apocalypse survival rule number 1, never easily help strangers. I ignored the man, walked quietly along the side, keeping a safe distance from them. How can you have no sympathy at all? At a time like this, if humans don't unite, how can we get through this crisis? Seeing that I still didn't move, the man's tone suddenly changed. A hint of viciousness appeared in his eyes. The car door slammed open. A woman with a human body and a snake tail crawled out. Her white snake body twisted. Its scales shimmered with colorful light. A long tongue shot out into the air. It seemed that she was quite skilled with her mouth when she was alive. If I weren't at the peak of rank 2 now, I would probably be charmed by this half-human snake demon. The female half-human snake was indeed quite attractive. Her slender white neck and her generous curves were all enchanting. The man who had been standing by the car door also transformed into a half-human, half-snake form. Kid, you actually didn't fall for it. I admire your IQ, but you still can't escape being eaten. Triumph was written all over his face. The blue snake demon was already planning how to eat me. Seeing how calm I was, the female snake demon couldn't help but feel alert, because all the previous humans had been scared out of their wits when they saw them. Some even peed their pants on the spot. I just made a faint comment, which made the white and blue snake demons fly into a rage. A black snake tail swept toward me. As it approached the air, the snake tail grew extremely huge, crashing down toward me on the ground. Seeing the huge snake tail closing in, I vanished from my spot in an instant. A massive deep trench appeared on the ground. Perfect timing. I just wanted to test this second realm peak power too. I let out a loud roar. The solid muscles in my arms bulged. I entered battle mode in the blink of an eye. The twin halberd thunderblades appeared in my hands. The sharp blade aura surged straight at the male snake demon's face. The thunderblade struck a white snake tail. A harsh scraping sound came from its tough scales. The female snake demon blocked my attack. She turned around and said, "Husband, we're no match for him together. Let's run, my love. But if we eat him, we'll reach his level of strength. The entire Shanghai city will be ours." Why? Those arrogant Taoist priests and monks claim to be righteous and slaughter our snake demon clan without mercy. I refuse to accept this. We only want a small home, but humans won't even give us that. The blue snake demon roared. The female snake demon's expression changed when she heard this. What her husband said made sense. She remembered before the unjust accusations, her children were all forcibly taken by humans, while those humans just laughed in disgust. How to dispose of them? Take these little ones back to soak our feet. Make snake soup with the rest tonight. Old shoe, you really know how to cook. Tears streamed down the female snake demon's cheeks as she thought of this. At that moment, her hatred for humans reached its peak. Husband, if that's the case, no matter what, I'll stay by your side. Their eyes met. Both snake demons felt each other's determination. At that moment, it felt like I was the villain bullying them. As soon as they finished speaking, their auras suddenly changed. Their human forms gradually disappeared. 2 ferocious snake heads emerged. The black and white snakes suddenly grew larger. Their bodies were nearly 4 or 5 stories tall, and over 100 meters long. Although they only had first realm strength, their aura was quite close to that of the second realm. Full monster form. I didn't hesitate. I summoned the phantom spirit armor right away, and also called forth the Thunder Jiao Emperor. No longer hiding my trump cards, the Thunder Jiao Emperor's body was just like the snake demon's, with horns on its head, dragon beards fluttering in the wind, 4 claws stepping on clouds and mist, surrounded by purple thunder and lightning. It wasn't the legendary golden dragon, but it still had a hint of dragon's majesty, a Jiao transforming into a dragon. Even a Thunder Jiao could do it, but it had to go through the heavenly tribulation first, to become the legendary 5-clawed golden dragon. The twin halberd thunderblades in my hands hummed, resonating with the Thunder Jiao Emperor. How is this possible? He actually subdued a dragon? Dragons can't appear here. This must be a fake! The black and white pythons couldn't believe their eyes. The scene in front of them truly terrified the 2 snake demons. Dragons are high-ranked divine beasts. If this kid really has a dragon, we really messed with the wrong person. But the dragon he summoned only has the charm, not the true dragon essence. So what this kid summoned isn't a real dragon at all. He's just putting on a show, I listened to their analysis and gave them a thumbs up. After all, what I summoned is a Jiao, not a real dragon, but it's more than enough to deal with these black and white giant pythons. My figure flashed. The thunder blades in my hands burst forth with purple thunder. Slash after slash, I hacked at the two giant pythons. Like dense drum beats, giving them no time to catch their breath, countless knife marks were left on their tough scales. The pythons felt the pain and quickly retreated. Thunder and lightning are useless against us, the black giant python sneered and mocked. What he said was true. The initial stage, Purple Firmament Divine Thunder, had little effect on scale-covered monsters. But that didn't mean there was no hope. Ice Seal, the black and white giant pythons leaped up, one on each side, blocking the already blood-colored moonlight. Everything went dark in front of me. Anyone else would have panicked by now, because their vision would be completely gone. But unfortunately for them, I have the night cat's eye talent. Even though I could see, the black and white pythons were incredibly fast. They were prepared, and I still couldn't escape. Their winding snake bodies coiled around me layer by layer, layer after layer, black and white scales intertwined around me. This was a snake's favorite hunting method. To strangle their prey, to death slowly, even the strength of tigers and lions, if entangled by a python, would only wait for death. But I wasn't alone. I shouted loudly, "Uncle Thunder! Come quickly!" In the distance, the Thunder Jiao Emperor stepped on rolling clouds. A deep dragon roar shook the entire Shanghai city. The sky rumbled. It felt like the entire sky was about to collapse. The Thunder Jiao Emperor, bearing the power of heaven, galloped through the auspicious clouds. Dense purple thunderbolts filled the sky, striking straight at the black and white giant pythons. Crackle! The thunderbolts hit the snake bodies. Like an unstoppable force of heaven, the struck black and white pythons hissed in pain. Their snake bodies suddenly loosened. I seized this opportunity, once again waved my blades as fast as lightning. Each strike aimed for their vital points. Soon the snake bodies were drenched in blood. The purple firmament, divine thunder on the thunder blades surged into the pythons' bodies. Their meridians exploded violently, and their ability to move was instantly lost. We refused to accept this. We only wanted to live. Why was it so hard? The black and white pythons collapsed to the ground with a loud thud, never to move again. You should never have thought of eating me, I said coldly. Then my tone softened. Uncle Thunder, send them off. The Thunder Jiao grabbed the black and white pythons with its 4 claws and stuffed them into its mouth. Gulp! They slid down the Thunder Jiao's throat. Pure energy surged into my body. The shackles of the second realm peak were completely broken. The aura of the third realm was released instantly. Abandoned cars on the road were blown away. When I flexed my muscles, they crackled loudly. I threw a punch at the ground. A huge crater appeared on the ground, but my fist was unscathed. I was overjoyed when I saw this. All the impurities in my body were vaporized. My physical functions were enhanced once again. I immediately entered mimicry mode. With a thought, the thunder blades transformed into 2 thunder dragons. The thunder dragons opened their jaws, spitting out 2 cannonballs charged with purple thunder. The mountain ridges on both sides of the road were pierced through instantly. Monsters in the mountains fled in panic, causing a commotion. Seeing the test results, I felt a strong sense of security. Then with another thought, the 2 thunder dragons behind me transformed back into 2 thunder blades. The blades were as white as snow, exuding an endless cold aura. At that moment, I was full of anticipation for the future. On the silent highway, a deep dog bark suddenly sounded. From the sound, I could tell. This dog was on the verge of death. I focused my mind, carefully identifying the direction of the sound. Soon I located its source. After walking for about a minute or two, I arrived in front of a car. Through the car window, I saw a small husky lying weakly inside. Its distinctive eyes made it instantly recognizable. I punched through the car window and picked up the little dog. I looked at it carefully. It was very strange. This dog hadn't mutated at all. Such a thing had never been heard of. Logically, all creatures should have mutated by now, but this little husky in front of me still retained its original appearance. It was truly puzzling. I looked at the little husky in front of me and already had the idea of taking it in. I took out a sausage from my bag to feed it, then used alcohol to clean its leg. There was a pinch wound on its back leg. I felt relieved after checking it over. Fortunately, no bones were injured, only some superficial cuts. Soon the wound was bandaged up. The little husky in my arms fell into a deep, tired sleep. So I put it in my backpack and continued on my way to the urban area. The mutation had been over for 5 hours. There was still no sign of official rescue because they were all too busy dealing with their own problems. Mutated beasts were popping up everywhere, let alone rescuing others. Those vicious criminals thrived even more after the mutation. At this point, passing through the service area ahead would take me to the entrance of Shanghai City's urban area. After several battles and the long journey, I felt a little tired and was about to stop at the service area to rest, but found the outside of the service area was already overcrowded. I stepped forward to ask an elderly man in front of me. Just as the old man was about to speak, he was shouted down by a man in black standing nearby. The man looked ferocious, rolled up his sleeves to show his tattoos, and held a shiny steel knife in his hand. "What are you two muttering about? Don't you know noise attracts mutated beasts? Start with you." Get in another line. The men in black maintaining order on the scene all couldn't help but look over here. If anyone caused trouble, they would rush over to help immediately. I didn't really care about the man in black's questioning. As long as the other party didn't cross my bottom line, I wouldn't make a move. Following the man in black's instructions, I went to the designated spot and got in line. Just then, not far away, a woman clung tightly to the baby in her arms. Several men in black stepped forward to snatch it. Unfortunately, she couldn't stand up to several adult men alone. The man in black, who seemed to be the leader, kicked the woman to the ground with one foot. Then, the several men in black snatched the baby from her arms. The woman sitting on the ground crying bitterly stood up immediately, clenched her fists and rushed at the men in black. But just as her fist was about to hit the man in black's face, a squelching sound was heard. Her clenched fist then went limp and weak. A steel knife had stabbed into her abdomen. As the steel knife twisted, the woman lost all signs of life. Blood flowed all over the ground from her abdomen. People who had lived in peace for years had never seen such a bloody scene and were instantly terrified, let alone stepping forward to stop it. I had seen too much indifference from crowds and naturally didn't want to meddle in other people's business. "Hurry over here!" One of the men in black pointed at me, thinking it's better to avoid trouble. I went to the designated spot as instructed by the man in black. "What's in your bag?" he asked. With that, the man in black took off my backpack from behind and groped around inside it. When he touched a fluffy little body, the man in black couldn't help but squeeze it. It was those two squeezes that woke up the husky in the backpack. It let out a woof and bit down on that unfamiliar hand. The man in black grinned in pain and pulled his hand out of the backpack. A little dog was hanging from his hand. He shook his hand frantically, trying to shake off the husky that was biting him, but it was useless. Seeing this, the other men in black swarmed forward to help. They came over with iron rods. When the husky saw this, it immediately let go and limped over to me. I picked it up smoothly. "You bastard, you dared to set me up." The man in black held his hand and stared at me fiercely. Seeing this, the other thugs all took out their weapons and surrounded me. At the same time, the man in black reminded them, "Brothers, you can kill the guy, but capture that little dog alive." To give our boss a change of taste, I carefully sensed these people in front of me, and it wasn't hard to find their strength was at the first realm level. But in the early stages of the mutation, they were already indispensable combat power in the human world. "Kid, I advise you to hand over that little dog. Otherwise, our Yulong gang will send you to hell today." Faced with their aggressive threats, I remained calm and composed. First, I put the husky in my arms on the ground, then took off my shirt one by one. Soon, a body of well-defined muscles was exposed to everyone's sight. 2 purple dragon tattoos stretched from my spine to both sides of my smooth back, looking vivid and lifelike, as if they were 2 real dragons. Then I thought with a single mind. The dragon tattoos on my back gradually transformed into 2 thunder dragons. The appearance of the thunder dragons scared many people present. The thugs surrounding me saw 2 dragon heads protruding from my back, and were also terrified by this bizarre scene. No one knew who made the first move. An iron pipe covered in rust suddenly smashed towards the back of my neck. In the next second, one of the dragon heads seemed to be in telepathic communication with me, opened its big mouth and bit the iron pipe. The man used all his strength but couldn't pull the iron pipe out, as if it was stuck fast. Then a look of horror appeared in his eyes. Inside the thunder dragon's mouth, a purple thunderball was condensing, crackling loudly. The thunderball shot out, and the thug was instantly blown into the sky. Then he was blown to smithereens in a huge explosion, leaving no trace behind. The huge noise alarmed the senior members of the Yulong gang, who were eating hot pot inside the convenience store. A thug rushed into the convenience store in a panic. "Boss, it's bad! There's a superpower user causing trouble outside," the thug stammered as he reported, and told the senior members of the Yulong gang present the situation outside in detail. Gang leader Lin Yu flew into a rage and cursed, "Damn it! Daring to mess with our Yulong gang!" A stainless steel bowl fell to the ground, and pieces of meat that looked like human fingers scattered all over the floor. A woman sitting next to Lin Yu, wearing a black lace bodycon skirt, took out a handkerchief to wipe the sweat from Lin Yu's face, and persuaded him softly, "Brother Lin, don't be angry." Lin Yu slapped her across the face, and looked sorrowfully at the meat pieces on the ground, and said hoarsely, "I'm not sad. I just think it's a waste that the meat fell on the ground." Lin Yu was one of the first to discover that humans could also eat mutated beasts to level up, and of course, eating humans had the same effect. He knew he couldn't beat mutated beasts, so he set his sights on his own kind, which led to him setting up a roadblock at the service area. It's just that he specifically ate babies. I'm in a bad mood right now. "Hurry over here and cheer me up." The woman was grabbed by Lin Yu, and with her hair messy, performed a trick in front of everyone. The real man Lin Yu felt refreshed after 3 seconds, and led a group of hallmasters out of the convenience store. Outside the service area, it was already bustling with people. The Yulong gang's thugs were being blown up one by my thunderballs. Not even their bodies could be found. All turned to ashes. Just as I was about to blast the next thug, a figure wearing dark blue armor appeared in front of me. A super warrior armor user. I looked at the armor in surprise. I didn't expect that in just a few hours. Someone had already mastered the power of the armor. In an instant, a purple thunderball shot towards the dark blue armor. Lin Yu didn't panic at all, and summoned a shield engraved with shark patterns. My casual attack was easily blocked by Lin Yu, not leaving a single scratch on the shark shield. Although my attack was casual, the power of the third realm was real, yet the person in front of me could handle it easily, which really exceeded my expectations. The fact that he could catch my attack so easily meant his level was actually the same as mine. If you're looking for death, then don't blame me for being ruthless. I immediately entered battle mode. The twin dragons transformed into thunderblades, with scales appearing one by one, protecting me inside the phantom spirit armor, just like the armor worn by ancient generals, exuding an aura of dominating the world. "You bastard daring to cause trouble in the Yulong gang. Did you eat the guts of a leopard? I'll beat you until you're begging for mercy. I wonder how much my strength will increase if I eat you. You even brought a dog with you." Perfect. I've eaten too much human flesh these past few days. I can change my taste. Lin Yu, wearing the dark blue armor, summoned his killing sword, looking on with anticipation. Ever since he found out that eating humans could make him stronger, he no longer restrained himself. In just a few short hours, he had already eaten countless humans. Lin Yu was as if he had never been influenced by civilized society. Like a wild man, he had no psychological burden about eating humans. His figure blurred. Only an afterimage remained where Lin Yu had stood. A collision sound rang out. I steadily blocked his sword strike. A meaningful smile appeared on my face. Seeing this, Lin Yu felt a sudden sense of unease in his heart. He hastily tried to pull the giant shark sword back to maintain a safe distance. But it seemed too late for all that. The flood dragon on the hilt of the thunderblade suddenly opened its eyes. Purple thunder and lightning appeared on the thunderblade, transforming into a small flood dragon's body, coiling around the giant shark sword. In the blink of an eye, it burrowed into the armor. Only a few dull thuds were heard. Lin Yu, wearing the dark blue giant shark armor, fell to the ground. He was forced back to his human form, lying on the ground and vomiting blood. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and resentment. Looking at Lin Yu's unwilling appearance, I smiled and said, "Did you really think leveling up only requires eating other species? Your level is just an empty shell. True strength can only be gained through battle." Then the thunderblade in my hand fell. A head separated from the body. Seeing this scene, the remaining thugs of the Yulong gang retreated one after another, but I didn't want to give them a chance. "Your gang leader is dead. From now on, all members of the Yulong gang are my slaves. If you dare to defy my orders, you will end up the same as your gang leader. From now on, We will be renamed the Leilong Group. Did you hear me? I shouted at the cowering Yulong Gang thugs. The other hall masters saw that the situation was bad, immediately knelt down, and said in unison, "Thank you for the master's mercy. We swear to follow you faithfully. Through fire and water, we will not hesitate." Even the hall masters surrendered. The thugs were not to be outdone, immediately knelt down to show their loyalty. Looking at the members in front of me, I plotted my plan in my heart, but someone always interrupted. "Hey, buddy, my dad is the chairman of Shanghai Real Estate Company. As long as you send me home, I'll give you as much money as you want." "Hey, brother, my dad is the person in charge of Shanghai City Military Region. As long as you send me back to the military region, my dad will definitely promote you." Seeing me kill the Yulong Gang's leader, everyone thought I was a good guy who stood up for justice and helped those in need. I don't care about your identities. Even your life or death has nothing to do with me. A word of warning. It's best not to go to the urban area. There's a military unit outside the eastern suburbs of Shanghai City. After hearing my cold words, someone immediately disagreed. A man walked out of the crowd, pointed at me and said, "Hey, you young man, how can you be so narrow-minded? Haven't you heard that with great power comes great responsibility? Now you're the strongest here. You have the obligation to take everyone out of here and protect everyone's safety." The man had a bag under his arm, wore glasses, and only a few sparse hairs on his head, dressed like a successful person, and secretly incited others to criticize me from the moral high ground. Many people in the crowd agreed with the man's views, and even came forward to accuse me. Faced with doubts and accusations, my response was a sword chi formed by thunder and lightning. Flying towards the provocative middle-aged man, the bones in his neck were cut clean in two. His head fell to the ground with a thud. Blood gushed out. Like a small fountain, the middle-aged man's mouth still maintained the shape of speaking. The bloody scene immediately caused a commotion among the crowd. The timid even vomited on the spot. I didn't even look at the corpse on the ground, just looked at the crowd coldly. At this moment, everyone present fled in all directions like frightened birds. Completely forgetting my advice just now, I didn't plan to interfere anymore. Then I walked towards the convenience store in the service area. The other members of the Leilong Group followed closely behind. I sat on a spacious and soft sofa. In front of me, a large pot bubbled and simmered. A baby-like palm was flipped back and forth in the hot soup, already boiled to a pulp. Just looking at it made me feel nauseous, not to mention eating it. My stomach churned with nausea. "Get this out of here immediately." I pointed at the hot pot in front of me. Then 2 respectful thugs carried the large pot away. After a while, I silently counted the number of people. Besides myself, there were only 15 subordinates in the entire convenience store, and 2 of them were former hall masters. Although the number was a bit small, it would be much easier to lead them. Then I assumed the air of a superior and spoke in an unquestionable tone. "What are your mutated abilities?" The thugs below introduced their awakened abilities one after another. Most of them were beast tamers. None of them had super warrior armor. The thugs finished their introductions quickly. A hall master standing on the right walked to the middle and knelt on one knee in front of me. "Greetings, master. This subordinate is Zhang Hu, former hall master of the White Tiger Hall of the Yulong Gang." I awakened the White Tiger armor. The White Tiger totem on Zhang Hu's forehead suddenly shone brightly. Then a set of white armor covered his entire body, with an exclusive White Tiger mark on the armor. His behavior was very respectful. Without the slightest dissatisfaction, hearing that Zhang Hu was a super warrior, I was overjoyed. Although their current levels were all at level 1, I was confident that I could train them well. In the future, I would have a better chance of competing for the top. So I looked at the other hall master, standing on the side with anticipation. Then that man, like Zhang Hu, kneeled on one knee in front of me. "Greetings, master. This subordinate is Wang Yu, former hall master of the Vermilion Bird Hall of the Yulong Gang." I awakened the Firebird armor. As he spoke on Wang Yu's forehead, a Firebird totem suddenly glowed. Then a set of fiery red armor covered him, with a Firebird mark on it. Hearing the answer I had expected, I couldn't help but praise, "Good. Very good, excellent." Then I made arrangements for them. "Zhang Hu, from now on, you are the captain of the first team of the Leilong Action Team. Wang Yu, from now on, you are the captain of the second team of the Leilong Action Team. From now on, you all take orders from me. Without my order, no one can command you. Do you understand? Stick with me. I won't let you down. The only guarantee I can give you is safety. Whoever dares to touch my people, even if they run to the ends of the earth, I will kill them. Everyone present moved in unison, kneeling on one knee in front of me. Their tone was extremely respectful. No trace of dissatisfaction could be seen in their eyes. We swear to follow the master faithfully. At this moment, I truly subdued all members of the Yulong gang. The prototype of the Leilong group was officially established. Laying the foundation for the Leilong group, that would dominate the entire Shanghai city in the future, and even the entire Water Blue Star. After resting for a day, I vaguely woke up from my sleep. Looking at the unchanged sky outside the window, I could no longer tell what time it was. Last night, I spent a long time teaching them how to summon their natal weapons. Then I told them the doomsday survival rules from my previous life. Before long, the entire Leilong action team assembled. After sorting out the supplies, I led the team towards the city center of Shanghai City. Shanghai City West District. This place was an important industrial park before the mutation, gathering tens of thousands of migrant workers. But now it was completely empty. The husky in my backpack stuck its head out, looking around at the surroundings. A dozen people followed closely behind me, weaving through the streets. I gave them instructions to split up. The two Leilong action teams split up at the intersection, sneaking into the darkness. We arrived at the business center of the West District. Tall buildings were covered with green vines. There were quite a few humans who had completely turned into mutated beasts on the streets. They wandered aimlessly on the streets. They didn't seem interested in their own kind. I lightened my steps, sneaked into the business building at an extremely fast speed. There were also many mutated beasts on the first floor. I lowered my voice and slowly walked upstairs. I had two purposes for entering the business building. First, to collect supplies. I'm quite picky when it comes to food. It's not that I'm unwilling to eat mutated beasts, but they have to be cooked really well. The second purpose is to observe the layout of Shanghai City. Even though I've looked at the map countless times, it's still not as good as seeing it in person. So I need to get to the highest position to get a panoramic view. That way, I can be prepared for any eventuality. But just as I reached the third floor, a hand suddenly appeared to stop me. What are you going up for, classmate? Bai Xiaofi lives upstairs. Hearing the unfamiliar woman's words, I looked at her with a confused expression. In my memories from the previous life, I had never heard of someone named Bai Xiaofei. Seeing my blank look, she lowered her voice and spoke in a voice only the two of us could hear. I'm kindly reminding you, never go upstairs. If you make Bai Xiaofei unhappy, then your end will be miserable. She persuaded me like someone who had been through it before. Before I could speak, she started chattering again. What's your name? Did you come from Shanghai University? If you really did, then you're really amazing. Are there mutated creatures everywhere there? Like here? Oh, right. What's your ability? Are you interested in joining my team? We occasionally go out to scavenge for supplies, then hand over a portion to Bai Xiaofei. The rest we can distribute freely. I patiently listened to her endless questions. From her questions, I found that she was very afraid of that Bai Xiaofei, and it seemed that she had also mastered the ability after the mutation. She was also very familiar with the situation nearby. The woman in front of me was named Kui Shui. Led by her, we came to a room. There were other people sitting inside. This is our new member. He will fight with everyone from now on. Kui Shui enthusiastically introduced me to everyone. I looked at her innocently. I never said I wanted to stay here. I just wanted to go to the top floor to check the view. But now I was muddle-headedly pulled into a survivor team. I'm telling you, Kui Shui, our team doesn't support idlers. A charming woman leaned against the table and spoke in an unfriendly tone. Then a burly man stood tall and straight and said coldly, let me make it clear first. If we encounter danger, I won't make a move to save him. Please rest assured, everyone, I definitely have the ability to protect the junior brother. Kui Shui patted her chest and guaranteed. Then thank you, senior sister. I pretended to be embarrassed. At this moment, I had already made up my mind. I was new here and not familiar enough with the surrounding situation. It's rare to find a survivor team familiar with the surrounding situation. This was the perfect opportunity to figure out the surrounding environment. Don't come begging us later. The charming woman seemed unconvinced and sneered at Kui Shui again. The burly man clapped his hands, attracting everyone's attention. Then he said solemnly, everyone pack up. We're leaving soon. Our target this time is Wang Fujing's supermarket. After about half a cup of tea's time, Everyone packed up and set off. The burly man walked in front to clear the way. He should have some kind of strength-type talent. The muscles in his hands bulged. His arms seemed to be a circle bigger. With one punch, he sent the mutated beast blocking the way flying. A lean man, the charming woman, and Kui Shui. Up to now, I still didn't know their talent abilities, but the burly man's level had been confirmed. Only level 2, but being able to reach level 2 in just a few days, he was definitely no ordinary person. Along the way ahead, there were constant sounds of mutated beasts being punched to death. The burly man's fists seemed to have no scars at all. It seriously violated the law of action-reaction. Newton's coffin lid was almost impossible to hold down. The lean man, the charming woman, and Kui Shui, the three of them acted very calmly, as if they were used to it. The burly man punched extremely fast. He threw 5 punches in just 1 second, and each punch accurately hit the vital parts of the mutated beast, killing the mutated beasts in the shortest time possible. From the way he punched, it's not hard to tell. His occupation before the mutation was definitely not simple. Seeing my confusion, Kui Shui played the good guy again, and introduced Brother Li Yong. Was an underground boxer before. Although he is usually cold to people, he will step forward when it matters. I just nodded. Suddenly it dawned on me. Underground boxing matches. Those are life or death matches. You don't win until you beat your opponent into submission, and every player there is a ruthless character. In the era of mutation, they are simply in their element. Before long, with Li Yong's strong path clearing, everyone finally arrived at Wangfujing Supermarket. This supermarket covers a very large area. It's one of the more famous local enterprises in Shanghai City. The moment we opened the door, a sharp voice suddenly sounded. A snow-white canine mutated beast pounced at everyone. Its eyes were blood red. It was much larger than an adult lion. Its speed was extremely fast, like a bolt of lightning catching people off guard. Its sharp claws were about to scratch the cheeks of the 2 women. In this critical moment, a lean man's figure flashed, bursting out faster speed than the canine giant beast. He punched it solidly in the waist. Its spine snapped with a crack, and it slammed heavily to the ground. After doing all this, he even looked at me provokingly to show off his achievement. This man's name is Zhu Yuji. He spoke in a sarcastic tone. Lucky I was here. Otherwise, we would have been wiped out. Unlike someone who can only hide behind women. That's enough. Let's focus on the mission first. I don't want to hear any more words that undermine unity. Team leader Li Yong punched a mutated beast to death, then turned around and warned Zhu Yuji. Seeing this, Zhu Yuji didn't dare to speak again. He was only at peak first realm, while Li Yong in front of him was a genuine second realm. Naturally, he didn't dare to go against his wishes. Everyone split up. Each person finds one type of supply, mark the location of the supplies at the same time. Seeing that the mutated beasts on the first floor had been almost cleared out, Li Yong immediately assigned tasks to everyone. I was assigned to find medicine. Walking to the floor area diagram, I carefully looked at the location I needed to go to. According to the diagram, it should be on the 4th floor. The entire supermarket has a total of 10 floors, and it's also connected to the warehouse. Soon I arrived at the 4th floor and entered the medicine area. Shelves were densely packed with various medicines. Although human bodies have mutated, these medicines can still play a partial role. According to the list provided by Li Yong, I put the medicines into an empty backpack. Just as I was casually grabbing medicines and observing the situation near the supermarket, a shrill scream broke the silence. It was Kui Shui's voice. At this time, Li Yong and Zhu Yuji, who were closer, immediately ran down to the 1st floor from the 2nd and 3rd floors. When the 2 hurried to the meat warehouse, they both showed expressions of horror. As soon as they came to their senses, they pulled Kui Shui and ran out. Behind them, there was a pitch-black mouse. Its body was 3 meters tall. Small mice kept falling from its black fur. Then they climbed back onto the giant mouse. This cycle repeated, dense like a tide, making people dare not approach even half a step. A damp and rotten stench emitted from the giant mouse's body. The entire building was filled with this stench. Kui Shui couldn't hold on any longer at this moment, fell to the ground and lost consciousness immediately. Zhu Yuji and Li Yong were in the same state. Only Li Yong was slightly better off. He struggled to stand firm, trying to lift Zhu Yuji and Kui Shui to escape together, but his 2 muscular arms seemed to have no strength at all. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't lift his feet. The gas emitted by the Rat King's body was exactly poison gas, a type of gas that could make people weak and powerless. That charming woman seemed completely unharmed. She shouted for her companions on the 5th floor. Seeing no one responded, she hurried down the stairs, but unfortunately, the Rat King in front of her didn't give her a chance to rescue them. The giant Rat King shook its body. Tens of thousands of baby mice fell from its body. They rushed madly towards the 3 people on the ground. Like a tide, rolling high, irresistible. Watching the tide-like swarm of mice, the woman was extremely anxious. But unfortunately, she had no combat effectiveness. Just then, I appeared here, looking down at the hall below. Only then did I realize that the charming woman's talent should be a healing-type talent. Otherwise, with her 1st realm level, she would definitely have fainted from the giant rat's poison gas, and would never be as relaxed as she is now. If my level weren't higher, I'm afraid I would have fainted too. Scram, get away from me. His limp hands constantly brushed the mice off his body. The charming woman who rushed down from upstairs was named Yanzi. Her pupils contracted sharply, staring at Juyuji in horror. Following her gaze, at this moment, Juyuji was covered by tens of thousands of mice. Countless black mice gathered on his body. He stumbled to his feet. Like a human-shaped mouse, the pitch-black mice gnawed on him unscrupulously. With a crunch, a piece of flesh from his face was torn off and devoured. Then 5 or 6 mice bit down hard with their sharp teeth. With a bang, bones snapped. One of his arms was torn off just like that. The bright red blood seemed to stimulate the mouse army. They became even more excited, licking the blood on the ground with their mouths. As the blood entered their mouths, they all squeaked in unison, as if it were a signal. They all rushed towards Juyuji's wound. In the blink of an eye, the mouse army entered his body through the wound. In the quiet building, the sound of gnawing was extremely harsh. He didn't even have time to let out a scream. Before turning into a pile of white bones, the woman couldn't believe what she was seeing. The mouse army passed through like locusts. After finishing Juyuji, they then turned towards Kuishui and Li Yong. Li Yong, who was struggling to hold on, witnessed everything. A sense of sorrow for the fate of others arose in his heart. Although they had only known each other for a short 2 or 3 days, they had experienced life and death together several times, and formed a deep friendship. Tears streamed down Li Yong's eyes. Li Yong endured the negative effects brought by the Rat King, throwing punch after punch, smashing the approaching mouse army on the ground into meat paste. The swarming mouse army only left a gap, then bypassed his fists and regrouped. With a whoosh, a mouse jumped onto his face, revealing 2 sharp teeth, biting down hard on his face. The bones in his face shattered immediately. Without hesitation, Li Yong grabbed the mouse on his face. The muscles in his arm bulged, squeezing hard suddenly. The mouse in his hand exploded like a watermelon. His hand was covered in blood. In an instant, he saw us rushing down the stairs towards him. He punched and exploded the mouse army in front of him, slightly blocking the mouse army's advance. Taking advantage of this gap, enduring the severe pain in his face, he shouted loudly, "Hurry up! Drag Krishu away. The 3rd realm Rat King is not something you can handle. I'll cover the rear! Hurry and go!" His voice echoed throughout the entire supermarket. The Rat King, who hadn't moved for a long time, suddenly lit up its eyes, as if recalling its playful mood in an instant. With a shout, the mouse army received the order, immediately stopped their attack, then turned around, returning to the Rat King. The Rat King stood upright, like a walking human. Its blood-red eyes stared at Li Yong in front of it. Looking at the tall Rat King, Li Yong swallowed hard. The wound on his face kept bleeding. He even forgot the feeling of pain. He had never seen such a mutated beast before. In terms of height alone, the Rat King was at least 5 meters tall. Looking at its body again, it was even larger than him. No matter how you compared, he was doomed to lose. But if he didn't step forward to hold back the Rat King, no one would have a chance to survive. Li Yong, who had made up his mind, immediately unleashed his talent to the limit. The muscles in his arms swelled rapidly, making a dull roaring sound. His arms became bigger than a person's body. He leaped forward like an arrow, coming before the Rat King. Raising his fist like lightning, the wind from his fist whistled. Like a violent storm, with a loud boom, the Rat King didn't dodge at all, taking the punch head-on, staring playfully at Li Yong below it. Successfully landing the punch, Li Yong was first extremely excited, then surprised, finally falling into dark disappointment. The 3rd realm level was truly unshakable. He stared blankly at his fist, unable to believe what he was seeing. That punch just now, he had used all his strength, even disregarding his injured body. But when it landed on the Third Realm Rat King, it had no effect at all. Before the mutation, he was at least an underground boxing match fighter. His mastery of strength could be said to be flawless. That punch just now, even a battle-hardened boxing veteran, could not have withstood it. But the Rat King had no signs of injury at all. Moreover, the Rat King's eyes carried a hint of contempt. A sense of despair surged from the bottom of Li Yong's heart. He shouted again without looking back, "Hurry up! Faster! I can only hold on for at most 1 minute." His voice was loud, but also carried a hint of despair. Both Yanzi and I could feel it. When we arrived at Kuishui's location, we heard Li Yong's desperate shout from the front. At this moment, the Rat King was enjoying this moment, watching the separation of life and death among humans. It felt an inexplicable joy. Its 2 sharp claws gently lifted Li Yong. His legs kicked wildly, but it was useless. The Rat King looked carefully at Li Yong, seeing the despair and fear in his heart. It couldn't help but laugh loudly. "Haha, humans are nothing but this. How did you treat me back then? Now I'll repay you with interest. I'm tired of living in the sewers. Since heaven has given our rat clan a chance to be reborn, then I'll rule you humans well. Today let's start with the 5 of you. Let you witness the anger of the Rat Clan." The huge mouse suddenly spoke like a human, scaring Yanzi and Li Yong half to death. Usually, the most mutated beast they had seen could not speak human words. The Rat King slid its other claw. One of Li Yong's arms fell off. Excruciating pain. Li Yong couldn't help but scream. Hearing Li Yong scream, the Rat King became even more excited. It wanted to hunt humans just like humans usually hunt mice. Immediately, Li Yong's limbs were torn off. Leaving only his torso, blood gushed out from where his limbs had been. Li Yong fainted from pain several times, but was woken up by the Rat King each time. The state of living worse than death tormented Li Yong repeatedly. After an unknown amount of time, the Rat King finally got bored, throwing Li Yong away. He smashed heavily onto the 5th floor. Li Yong died on the spot. Then the Rat King reached for Kuishui's location, but was blocked by a purple lightning bolt. Suddenly, 2 purple thunderbolts blocked the Rat King. With a loud boom, smashing 2 huge pits in the floor. It can be seen how terrifying the power of these 2 thunderballs was. Even the Third Realm Rat King dared not take this attack head-on with its body. The Rat King's gaze couldn't help but turn to me. 2 long dragons protruded from behind my body, their dragon beards fluttering. Blinking their eyes as if they were one with me, the Rat King felt an unknown dangerous aura. Suddenly my figure blurred. 2 purple electric arcs flashed from my hands. Scales covered my body layer by layer. Protecting me within, I lunged forward to the Rat King's side, spinning my double halberds into dazzling sword flowers. The dazzling sword flowers attacked the Rat King's right side. Seeing the halberds approaching, the Rat King slammed its palm down. With a loud bang, the sword flowers vanished immediately. The force was so heavy I almost couldn't hold my weapon. Seeing the situation was unfavorable, I immediately retreated. I can't compete with it in strength. I'll have to use my wits. Yanzi hurried to Kuishui's side. Using her talent to heal her, Kuishui looked at me in surprise. How could he be so powerful in fighting the Rat King? Even the team leader and Zhu Yuji died at the hands of this giant rat. This college student is fighting it evenly. Did I underestimate him? You have some skill, kid. But that's all. After several rounds, the Rat King didn't get any advantage against me. It let out a furious roar. Tens of thousands of mice swarmed under its command, charging at me at high speed, like an endless army, surrounding the entire supermarket. I sheathed my double halberds. They immediately transformed into 2 purple-scaled dragons. The dragons opened their mouths. A purple lightning ball formed. With a bang, many mice were struck. The smell of burning filled the air. Lightning danced through the mouse swarm. Batch after batch of mice fell to the ground. The Rat King watched in anger, roaring. Its claws stabbed at me. Its massive body leaped. The entire building shook. The ground rumbled. Under Yanzi's treatment, Koike was just waking up. When she saw the giant rat charging at me, I had nowhere to dodge. The situation was critical. Kuishu's heart leaped to her throat. She couldn't help shouting, "Run!" I shouted, "Thunder Emperor!" Suddenly a loud dragon roar echoed, accompanied by a purple lightning bolt. Illuminating the entire building, sharp claws attacked the Rat King. The Rat King was pushed back dozens of steps, and its body tingled with electricity. If its skin weren't so thick, it would have been electrocuted by now. Despite heavy losses, the mouse army still charged mindlessly at me. The dragons behind me continued to attack. Soon the ground was covered with mouse corpses. What a waste, I thought. I silently chanted devour. The Thunder Emperor above my head opened its mouth wide, swallowing all the small mice on the ground. The moment they entered its mouth, I felt my energy increase. As energy surged, my level rose from mid-3rd realm to early 4th realm. My body underwent subtle changes. The phantom armor I wore gradually turned into golden armor. A unique heavenly power seemed to be within my grasp. I didn't know I had an ultimate armor form, and it's the legendary Heavenly Emperor armor. I looked at my transformation in amazement. Not only am I a beast tamer, but I also possess the ultimate armor. There's no one else like me on Blue Star. Seeing the situation was bad, the Rat King quickly said, "Kid, spare me. We'll leave each other alone, okay?" It witnessed my transformation. That sudden surge in power, it couldn't compete with that now. The Rat King had already planned. If I agreed, it would take the opportunity to escape, but I ignored it completely. I formed the meditation seal with my hands. Time seemed to stand still. The Rat King's movement slowed down significantly. It looked at me in horror. Before it could understand, I twisted my belt. A sword appeared in midair. The Emperor Armor's exclusive weapon, Aurora Sword. The Aurora Sword carried heavenly authority. In an instant, it pierced through the Rat King's body. With a bang, the Rat King was sealed in a 2-dimensional space, turning into a card floating in the air. I caught the card and placed it in my belt. Instantly, the card vanished. A shadow of the Rat King appeared in the belt. The Tai Chi pattern on the belt rotated. The Rat King disappeared completely. Pure energy entered my body again. I found that this Emperor armor can be upgraded further. The Emperor belt has 5 empty slots in the Tai Chi 8 trigrams. These correspond to the 5 elements. The 5 armors within me remain sealed. I conclude that I need to find the corresponding element crystals. To unseal the corresponding armors, these 5 armors are the legendary 5-element armors. The fire element's blazing dragon armor, the wood element's wind eagle armor, the metal element's snow mastiff armor, the water element's obsidian armor, and the earth element's earth tiger armor. All upgrade paths lead to the Emperor armor. The upgrade condition for the Emperor armor is to unseal the 5-element armors and upgrade them. But where do I find these element crystals? And also, what are the upgraded forms of these 5-element armors? I was full of doubts back then. Not only did I become a super warrior, but I never expected my armor could upgrade again, and my talent could evolve too. How can you be so strong? Kuishua walked over and circled around me, looking me up carefully. Her eyes didn't miss a single spot from head to toe. The armor gradually fell off my body. I, who had been hiding inside the armor, revealed my true face. Looking at Cui Xuan, I said softly, "I had a sudden enlightenment during the crisis just now, then leveled up. In just a few hours, we lost 2 people. How are we going to explain this to Boss Bai when we get back?" Regarding the sacrifice of the 2, Cui Xuan felt regret in her eyes, but deep down she thought more about Bai Xiaofei. They all had mission requirements for this trip. The amount of supplies to collect was a fixed target. If we can't finish it, we will definitely be punished. What do we do now? Without the antidote given by Brother Bai, how can we get through the night safely? Yanzi beside her thought of the pain of the flying creatures at night, and her body couldn't help but tremble. At that moment, several clear gunshots suddenly rang out on the street, followed by the sound of objects falling to the ground. I took the 2 of them to the glass window of the building in time, controlled my voice, and observed the situation on the street through the glass. In Kuishui and Yanzi's eyes, there was a flash of fire in the dark street opposite. Then several black figures fell to the ground. At this moment, I used my Dark Knight Cat Eye talent to the utmost, but I couldn't see the face of the person who shot. That person's face was like covered with thick mosaic. In the dark alley, a figure held a pistol tightly with both hands and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The bullet pierced through the monster in front of him. The monster stood upright with both hands, its legs stiff and straight. Hopping towards that person, there were many rotten wounds on its face and all over its body. The breath of death emanated from it, like a ghost from hell. It was a dead creature called a zombie. Its eyes rolled around randomly. and the fangs in its mouth refracted light sharply. When the nails on its fingers hopped forward, they all made a buzzing sound cutting through the air. That person's location was exactly where the City Patrol Division was. My thoughts drifted to Shanghai, a legend from 10 years ago. The location of the City Patrol Division, in the early years, was under a temple behind Wangjia Village, suppressing a monster. It had been guarded by the Wangjia Village for generations. One day 10 years ago, it was pouring rain under the command of a real estate construction manager. Dozens of excavators roared like beasts, marching towards the hill unanimously. Taking advantage of the heavy rain when the villagers of Wangjia Village were not present, this person secretly forced the demolition of a temple in the village. At this moment, the dark clouds in the sky were getting thicker and thicker. Under the erosion of rainwater, red mud formed on the mountain, flowing down the gullies to the foot of the mountain. The construction environment was extremely dangerous. Under the operation of the excavators, suddenly, a worker saw half-exposed black soil. The rain hit it, washing away the sticky soil. It was a black coffin. Soon after, the pitch-black coffins were piled up in an open space, neatly arranged. There were exactly 64 of them. The paint on the surface of the coffins was shiny, and the wood showed no signs of decay at all, as if they had just been buried. The 1,000-year-old secret at the center of the hill was thus revealed without any precautions. At the same time, the village chief, wearing a blue tang suit, sat down in front of the coffee table, picked up the teacup, and took a slow sip. Village Chief Wang Baoxin heard noisy voices outside the courtyard, and then a loud crash came from the main hall. "Master, it's an emergency." A young man wearing a Taoist blue robe threw away his umbrella, not even wiping the mud off his shoes. The young man Wang Hu was gasping for breath. Having just returned from outside the village, he came here directly, not delaying for a moment. Seeing Wang Hu out of breath, Wang Baoxin, who was sitting upright on the chair, couldn't help but feel a trace of anger. He said coldly, "Wang Hu, what did I teach you before? In Wang Jiazhuang and in front of me, etiquette is indispensable." He only cared about two things: his disciples' skills and etiquette. "Master, something terrible has happened. Suo Guanshan has been destroyed by the Wang Mansion's men," Wang Hu said, respectfully, slightly bending over. He truly respected Wang Baoxin, who had guarded Wang Jiazhuang alone for more than 50 years, without a single mistake. The thing sealed in the mountain had not shown the slightest sign of breaking the seal. A crisp sound. The teacup fell to the ground. Wang Baoxin stared blankly at Wang Hu, who was still gasping for breath, at a loss, unable to believe his disciple's words. He moved his mouth slightly, then replied hastily, "Impossible! Where did you hear this news?" His tone was firm, undeniable. Wang Hu affirmed, "Master, I just came back from outside. I witnessed the whole process of them breaking ground with my own eyes. Now the ceiling formation is probably completely destroyed." Whoosh! Wang Baoxin stood up from his chair, roaring, "How dare they? Hurry and get my Taoist robe and magic artifacts. Come with me to Suo Guanshan." At this moment, an old man stepped forward with a frown and said, 64 coffins used as suppression objects with fame, and there are even blood-red patterns on the coffin surfaces. This is the first time I've seen such a thing in my life. This man's name was Qin Yu King, a specially invited feng shui master. He stroked the blood-colored patterns on the coffin, which converged from all directions on the coffin lid, forming a map of the human meridians. Qin Yu King's eyes wandered, as if he had thought of something. Heaven is Chen, earth is Kun, wind is Zun, thunder is Zhen, water is Kan, fire is Li, mountain is Zhen, lake is Dui. The 8 phenomena form the Bagua, and combining them in pairs form 64 trigrams. The person who set up the suppression must have been extremely powerful. Daring to use the Bagua formation for suppression, his cultivation must be extremely high. He couldn't help but praise the person who set up the suppression. Qin Yu King's eyes were full of admiration. Suddenly, a loud shout. An employee wearing a red hat ran straight over, shouting, "Manager Wang, something terrible has happened." We dug up another stone coffin. Wang Fu and Qin Yu Qing exchanged a glance, both feeling a sinking feeling in their hearts. Sensing that something was wrong, they immediately ran outside without caring about the rain. At this moment, a figure at the scene walked to the central stone coffin and pulled off the red string on the stone coffin in one go. Suddenly, a sharp cold wind blew, and the falling rain carried a piercing chill. The man's drunkenness faded a bit. The layers of red strings wrapped around it were torn off one after another. The last seal was completely broken. The lid of the stone coffin was slowly pushed open. The man quickly stretched out his head, scanning the inside carefully with his eyes. But it was empty inside, except for a wordless stone tablet. The man immediately spat into it. He reached out and took out the stone tablet inside. "Damn it!" he cursed loudly, burying a lousy stone and making such a big fuss about it. But everyone else's faces froze, their eyes filled with fear. The man holding the stone tablet with both hands turned paler and paler. His body was aging at an extremely fast speed. The blood on his body seeped out as tiny droplets, then turned into a stream of red liquid flowing toward the stone tablet. The stone tablet glowed red and rotated, absorbing the blood. In the blink of an eye, his body was drained dry. Suddenly, a cloud of black mist emerged from the stone tablet, shrouding the man and slowly lifting him up. His head first rotated 360 degrees, then his body made cracking sounds. His movements were extremely stiff. His eyes turned blood red, and fangs grew in his mouth. His nails lengthened and sharpened, and his skin was as pale as a corpse's. He looked terrifying, exactly like the zombies described on TV. The stench of decay was nauseating. Ghosts! There are really ghosts! Zombies? Isn't this a scientific world? How can there be such legendary things? The onlookers, seeing this bizarre scene, fled in terror. The rain poured down relentlessly. The sky was darkened even more by the black mist emitted from the stone tablet. As if it had suddenly turned night, the black mist drifted slowly toward the crowd. Within the mist, the man moved his body slightly. Once he had fully taken control of this body, he spoke with great excitement. "Finally, I'm out. It hasn't even been 1,000 years. That damn Taoist priest surnamed Wang was really ruthless. Now I'll slaughter all the descendants of the Wang family and repay my debt with their blood. But this body is still too weak. I need to drink some fresh blood to strengthen it." He licked his lips as he spoke, staring hungrily at the frantically fleeing workers. With a casual wave of his hand, the slowly spreading black mist immediately transformed into a rushing flood. Irresistible, anyone touched by the mist immediately stopped running. The black mist formed a pair of giant hands, picking up the fleeing people like chicks and dragging them deep into the dense black mist. "God, please, spare me! I have elderly parents and young children to support." The captured worker cried bitterly, kicking his legs wildly, trying to break free. But in the face of absolute power, all struggles were futile. The black mist approached quickly. Many slow-moving workers were dragged into it, their miserable screams cutting off abruptly. In quick succession, the workers' blood vessels burst like balloons. Red blood was immediately sucked out from the ruptures, droplets of blood suspended in the air. The whole scene was like a sudden pause in a rainstorm. The moment their blood was drained, all their vitality vanished, and they quickly turned into zombies. Such fresh blood. I haven't tasted it in so long. The memory is still vivid. 1,000 years of sealing. What can it do to me? Wang Xiaoer, you claim to be able to predict everything, but you're nothing but this. Jiang Chen, the ancestor who had absorbed the fresh blood, burst into hearty laughter, mocking the person who had sealed him. In the legends of Jiang Chen, he was the ancestor of zombies, sucking human blood, controlling zombies, transcending the 3 realms in 6 paths. How terrifying he was. Rolling black mist soared into the sky, forming a pillar of energy visible from miles away. Damn these bastards! How dare they destroy the stone coffin? Wang Baoxin spat, cursing while still in disbelief. He then urged Wang Hu behind him. Xiaohu, faster! We need to seal that thing back into the stone coffin. As the 120th generation heir, Wang Baoxin knew exactly what was sealed inside the stone coffin. On the other side, a group of people marched against the fleeing crowd. Why are you running? What's happening ahead? Manager Wang Fu grabbed a fleeing worker, shouting angrily. The worker stammered, unable to explain clearly, broke free, and ran on without a word. Wang Fu stared fixedly at the panicked back, not looking away for a long time, as if trying to memorize the man's appearance. Just as he was about to order his men to stop the worker, Qin Yuqing, who had been staring at the sky for a long time, stroked his beard and said slowly, Manager Wang, I already know exactly what's happening ahead. Hearing Qin Yuqing's words, Wang Fu said flatteringly, Mr. Qin is truly amazing. Qin Yuqing looked troubled and continued. The black pillar in the sky is yin evil energy, so there must be an evil spirit causing trouble ahead. And this yin evil energy is so strong. I'm afraid that evil spirit's cultivation is extremely high. Maybe we're no match for it. But it's too early to jump to conclusions. Why don't we go take a look first and then decide? Although Chin Yu King phrased it as a question, his tone was unquestionable, so the group quickened their pace. At that moment, sharp fangs tore open the worker's carotid artery. Under the powerful suction, blood flowed along the shape of the fangs into the zombie's mouth. The moment the fresh blood touched its lips, the zombie's originally stiff expression suddenly gained a trace of vitality. Becoming extremely excited, it suddenly increased its strength, and blood gushed forth. It clamped down on its prey tightly with both hands, leaving it no room to struggle. Blood was blocked and sucked dry. The captured worker's face turned blue and then red alternately. The worker, who had turned into a zombie, was more than 10 times stronger than before. The blood-drained worker was casually thrown to the ground, and the zombie turned its gaze to the other. Fleeing workers. With a sudden jump, it soared dozens of meters into the air, then slammed down 100 meters away with a boom. Its speed was incredibly fast. It waved its stiff hands. Snapping up another fleeing worker with a crack, it twisted the worker's neck into the best position, and its extremely sharp fangs pierced down fiercely. The blood-drained worker was infected into a new zombie, joining the feast of blood-sucking. Meanwhile, the mastermind behind all this was leisurely enjoying the scene before him. This zombie has the potential to become a flying hair zombie. What about this one over here? It's suitable to become a white hair zombie. And that one over there is fit to be a red hair zombie. He observed his subordinates' performance, judging their future evolution directions. By distinguishing their abilities, he could form a zombie army with different capabilities. Just as he was feeling triumphant, dozens of figures suddenly appeared in front of him. They had shielded their yin-evil energy and were walking slowly toward him. He frowned, staring at these people solemnly, scrutinizing them constantly. Jia and 11 others advanced from the 8 bagua directions respectively. Chin Yu King, standing at the core position, held a peachwood sword in his left hand, a gourd between 2 fingers of his right hand, and a bronze sword hanging at his waist. Wearing a Taoist robe, he exuded an air of immortality. Behind him stood his 8 disciples, each holding red strings soaked in black dog blood. They took positions corresponding to the bagua, preparing to trap him within the bagua formation. Everyone attack together! With a snap, the talisman between his right fingers was ignited. The peachwood sword pierced through the talisman, its power seemingly increasing countless times in an instant. The peachwood sword flew through the air with the wind. Now! Chin Yu King shouted loudly. Having been ready, he charged forward quickly. His 8 disciples, receiving the order, moved even faster than their master Chin Yu King. Their positions kept changing, and the red strings in their hands crisscrossed. Soon, they surrounded Jiang Chen in the center. The red strings crisscrossed vertically and horizontally, like a giant net, trapping Jiang Chen inside. The 8 of them stood, exactly at the positions corresponding to the bagua. Chin Yu King twirled his peachwood sword, creating a sword flower, infused with Taoist magical power, stabbing straight at Jiang Chen, who was trapped in the center. Jiang Chen didn't dodge at all. Contempt even showed in his eyes. The peachwood sword stabbed firmly into Jiang Chen's chest, but everyone present stared at the scene in stunned silence. The most exaggerated among them was Chin Yu King, the one holding the sword. Because of the force just now, he felt it the most intuitively. At the moment the peachwood sword touched Jiang Chen's body, it exploded with a loud bang. The other party's body was like a solid wall. The wooden peachwood sword couldn't pierce his body at all. Immediately, he picked up the bronze sword at his waist. Only a bang was heard. The red string tied with copper coins suddenly snapped. Then the copper coins clattered to the ground. The bronze sword in his hand was useless. He stared at Jiang Chen in shock. Chin Yu King felt chills down his spine. What kind of monster is this? Jiang Chen smiled proudly, then waved his sharp claws. The red strings held by 8 people crackled and attacked Jiang Chen. Unfortunately, the 8 people's magic power was too low. This little damage to him was probably like being bitten by mosquitoes. In the blink of an eye, the red strings were cut off. The 8 tense people lost their balance for a moment. All fell backward off guard. Daring to show off such trivial skills in front of me? I'll teach you a good lesson. Take this! Jiang Chen laughed wildly. Frustrated, Chin Yu King's face turned red. He had never failed in his life, and he could hardly accept this result. But no one cared if he accepted it or not. Jiang Chen's hands suddenly stretched dozens of times longer, caught Chin Yu King, then retracted in time. Crack! His neck was bitten off. Blood gushed out from the wound, like a fountain. Seeing this, several of his disciples, some shouted in anger, others remained silent, quietly sneaked away. Wang Fu, standing far away, stared at the scene in surprise. He fled the scene without hesitation. Even a grand master had fallen. If he didn't run, it would be too late. Unfortunately, mortals could never compare to evil spirits. Black evil energy condensed into a blood spear. Several sounds of flesh being torn apart were heard. The condensed blood spear pierced through everyone's bodies. The breath of death entered their bodies immediately. Guided by the evil energy, the blood in their bodies gathered towards Jiang Chen's mouth. Then Jiang Chen's hand suddenly grew larger, grabbed the 8 Taoist disciples around him. Their necks were abruptly broken. He took a big gulp of fresh blood. The pure blood entered his body, unleashing vitality more vigorous than ordinary people. After absorbing the pure blood, his rotten meridians quickly repaired themselves. His decaying skin also regained new life. So refreshing! The blood of Taoist practitioners is really extraordinary. My strength is recovering much faster. Feeling the change in his physical strength, Jiang Chen clenched his fists, then relaxed his body, making crackling sounds. That long-lost sense of power finally returned. His appearance also returned to that of a young man. His white hair fluttered in the wind. Except for his scarlet eyes, he was no different from a normal human. 1,000-year seal, bones and flesh turned to ashes, soul sealed in a stone tablet, the dark stone tablet, thousands of years of torture. I finally made it through. Wang Xiaoer, today I will kill all your descendants. Restored to his true form, Jiang Chen stared at Wangjia village in the distance. A fierce light flashed in his eyes. Far away, someone felt his terrifying gaze. The yin evil energy has only subsided a little, and it's already much stronger again. I'm afraid I'll die here today. Wang Baoxin looked serious, anxious and uneasy, staring closely at the yin evil energy gathering in the sky. He had already prepared for the worst. Then he turned to Wang Fu behind him and said, "Give me the peachwood sword and the gourd. You leave here quickly. Now I pass the position of Lord of Suguan Mountain to you. From now on, you are the 121st heir. Protecting Wangjia Village and Shanghai City will be your responsibility, along with the Divine Ghost 7 kill order. You must practice diligently." Before Wang Fu could respond, Wang Baoxin held the sword in his right hand and the gourd in his left hand. The gourd burned. The peachwood sword seemed to be strengthened. Jiang Chen, from afar, he saw Wang Baoxin's blood energy, which was even purer than Qin Yu King's just now. He had long been eager for it. The purer the blood energy, the faster he could recover his own strength. This was exactly what he had been looking forward to. When he saw Wang Baoxin appear, he grinned, and when he saw that the other party didn't run away but charged at him, he said even more happily, "Boys, play with him for a while. After I suck dry these 3 remaining Taoist disciples, I'll probably reach the 4th rank." And Wang Baoxin was only at the peak of the 3rd rank at this moment. The zombies let out shrill cries. Countless 2nd-rank zombies came from all directions. Wang Baoxin slowly retracted his peachwood sword, closed his eyes, muttering incantations. "Supreme True Lord. Eternal Tao energy. Gods and ghosts are formless. Heaven and earth are extinct. Divine Ghost 7 kill order. 4th order, Earth Fiend order." Sensing the zombies entering his attack range, Wang Baoxin kept changing his hand seals, gathered magic power in his palm and slapped the ground. Immediately, centered on him, spiderweb-like cracks appeared on the ground. A pit dozens of meters deep suddenly appeared. The zombies fell into the pit off guard. Then magma and gravel surged forth. Only the zombies' miserable screams could be heard at the scene. Jiang Chen licked the remaining blood from his lips. He had already dealt with the other 3. With a flash, he appeared in front of Wang Baoxin, descendant of the Wang family. Compared to your ancestor Wang Xiaoer, you're far inferior. Energy ripples of the 4th rank spread around from Jiang Chen's body, kicking up gusts of piercing wind. The raindrops falling from the sky were as big as soybeans. At that moment, Jiang Chen just wanted to end the fight quickly. "Monster! How dare you call my ancestor by his name? 1,000 years ago, my ancestor could seal you. Then I can do the same." He formed hand seals with his fingers. Immediately, energy gathered towards Wang Baoxin. Magic power surged in his body. A majestic momentum spread out. Although it was not as strong as Jiang Chen's 4th rank momentum, it still stopped the other party's advance. Ants are just ants. I like your struggle. Jiang Chen's hand suddenly stretched out, towards Wang Baoxin. His sharp claws were filled with rich yin evil energy. As long as the skin is scratched, the yin evil energy will enter the human body. A person's body temperature will drop sharply, and the body will become stiff immediately. This is the horror of yin evil energy, supreme Taoist heart, responding endlessly. Expel evil spirits and ghosts. Eternal Tao energy, divine ghost 7 kill order. First order, slaughter break order. Magic power gathered on his right index and middle fingers. A light sword formed at his fingertips. He swung it at Jiang Chen's arm. It was like chopping on a bronze wall and iron barrier. Couldn't cut through it all, and didn't leave any scars. Wang Baoxin stared at the scene in surprise. It's fine if he couldn't cut off the other party's arm, but there wasn't even a single scratch. Unscathed, Jiang Chen burst out laughing, mocking, "Your slaughter break order is just scratching an itch for me. It doesn't hurt at all. Instead, it feels so good." Wang Baoxin's expression turned solemn. His retractable arms rushed towards Wang Baoxin at an extremely fast speed. Fangs protruded with blood oozing. His pale skin also changed, completely returning to his original zombie form. His combat power increased significantly. At this moment, I pulled back my thoughts. Later, Shanghai City dispatched the entire city's support to assist Wang Baoxin in sealing Jiang Chen. As for the method used, that remains unknown. My gaze turned to the alley again, only to see the zombies in the alley roaring, all becoming restless, charging towards the police station. The gunfire from the police station became even denser, but the gunfire attracted more zombies and mutated beasts, forming a vicious circle. Various mutated beasts came looking for the gunfire, letting out roars. Declaring the police station as their territory, the other mutated beasts paid no attention, heading straight for the police station. Some mutated beasts even fought among themselves, but most were blocked by the zombie army. The zombie army exuded a strong, rotten stench, turning around in neat movements, staring fiercely at the incoming mutated beasts. The aura of the undead from the depths of hell was very obvious. Many low-level mutated beasts slowed down, pausing to watch, daring not to take another step forward, while high-level mutated beasts continued to advance, baring their fangs and grinning, letting out the low growls inherent to beasts, trying to scare off the zombie army in front of them. But the zombie army seemed to have received some order, standing motionless on the spot, staring at everything happening in front of them. I saw a demon bat launch the first attack. The demon bat had a ferocious face, but a human body with a pair of huge wings growing from its back. Flapping constantly to maintain its suspension in the air, it emitted invisible sound waves from its mouth. A huge sound wave erupted. The glass of many buildings in the alley shattered into pieces, then turned to powder under the vibration of the sound waves. Many low-level zombies' bodies even exploded. Rotten meat chunks flew everywhere. The scene was extremely terrifying. A third-rank demon bat. Its innate ability was no joke. Seeing this, the other mutated beasts immediately pounced on the zombies, their sharp claws slashing fiercely at the zombies. Low-level zombies were directly torn to pieces. In an instant, the zombie army's formation was breached. It seemed as if the zombie army was about to collapse. But in the next second, the zombie army received an order. Those second-rank zombies with stiff fur charged forward one after another towards the sky. At the demon bat, especially the yellow-haired zombies with extremely high jumping ability, could easily jump into the sky with one leap. Reaching out with both hands to grab the demon bat's wingspan alone was a full 8 meters long, so its attack range was very large. Under the zombie army's attack, even the third-ranked demon bat couldn't fight against overwhelming numbers. In the end, it was caught by a yellow-haired zombie by its wing. Suddenly losing its balance, it fell into the zombie army. Then countless zombies pounced on it. In an instant, 3 or 4 zombies were hanging on its body. Zombies with bared fangs bit off its flesh. Heart-wrenching howls rang out immediately. Seeing this, the other mutated beasts immediately fled backwards. The third-ranked demon bat was already the strongest combat power among them. If even it was taken down, there was naturally no point in competing further. The ground in the alley shook again. At this moment, my palms were sweating. Although I had already reached level 4, I would be facing tens of thousands of monster beasts. They could tire me to death with a war of attrition alone, not to mention the mutated beasts attacking together. And there was also the zombie army. Damn it, if this goes on, we'll be trapped in the supermarket, then discovered by the zombies, and finally die here. Seeing that they were still shooting, I couldn't help but curse. As soon as the words left my mouth, I looked through the glass and saw the zombies opposite staring straight at me. I thought to myself, this is bad. Then the huge zombie army poured into the alley from all streets, suddenly abandoning their target of the police station and charging towards my location instead. Run, quick! Zombies outside the window came from all directions, completely surrounding the supermarket where I was. The zombie army let out roars, then jumped one after another, smashing the glass, breaking into the building like madmen. Before I could react, zombies appeared everywhere in the building. What do we do? Yanzi looked at the zombie army in front of her, at a loss. Her talent was only a healing-type talent. Her combat power relied entirely on her teammates' output. Don't panic. Isn't there a master right beside us? Kuisue patted Yanzi's shoulder, pointing at me. Observing the situation inside the building, there were already many zombies on the upper floors, and some red-haired zombies smashed the building walls with one punch. DJ zombies swarmed in, I replied coldly. I'm not your thug. In the apocalypse, human life is the cheapest thing. You want to kidnap me morally? That's impossible. The zombies exuded a faint yin-evil energy. The temperature inside the building suddenly dropped sharply, as if being in an ice and snow world. Dense zombies swarmed in like a tide. The hundreds of meters tall building was already shaking precariously. Seeing the zombies retreat, everyone at the police station let out a long sigh of relief, relaxing, slowly lowering their hands that were clutching their guns. Fatigue washed over their bodies. Police flower Lin Yuyan collapsed to the ground, looking haggard. At this moment, she just wanted to take a hot bath and sleep well. A click sound of a lighter rang out. Captain Zhang Hao exhaled a wisp of white smoke. His brain felt extremely relaxed at this moment. The sense of exhaustion seemed to disappear all at once. After a short period of relaxation, he frowned and looked at the others. Speaking seriously, everyone check each other's bodies. See if you're infected. Hu Zhifei, among the five, pressed the painful spot on his index finger, but upon closer inspection, he found no wounds. He thought it was just from pulling the trigger too much, so he didn't pay much attention. No wounds found. The 5 team members said in unison. Hearing this, Zhang Hao's nerves finally relaxed. Lin Yuyan, with her firearms expert talent, said seriously, looking at the direction the zombie army is moving, could there be someone else attracting the zombies for us? Police Flowerlin. Are you joking? This is the apocalypse. We can barely run for our lives. Who would sacrifice themselves to save others? At this moment, a whoosh-whoosh sound came from afar. Echoing in the alley, the huge zombie army's formation showed signs of breaking. Some zombies were chopped into pieces. You guys keep up. If you fall behind, I won't care. I charged forward, holding dual thunder knives and slashing at the zombies in front. Then purple electric arcs flickered. The thunder knives pierced the zombies' bodies, and the electric arcs also entered their bodies. In an instant, the rotten meat chunks, under the effect of the electric arcs, made a unique sound. The smell of burnt and rotten flesh immediately filled the air. Under my leadership, the 3 of us advanced like a cone, piercing through the entire zombie army's defense line. My target was to reach the alley, taking advantage of the alley's narrow space, to reduce the number of enemies we faced at once. Who is that? Actually able to beat the zombies back steadily. Boss, should we go support them? Anu, are you trying to get us killed? We can barely take care of ourselves. Still want to save others? Then we'll all end up staying here, Captain Zhang Hao said with a frown. Able to beat the entire zombie army back steadily. I'm afraid that person's level is definitely much higher than mine. Among us, only the captain. Zhang Hao and Lin Yuyan are at level 2. The others are all at rank 1. If it weren't for Lin Yuyan's firearms expert talent, the police station would have fallen long ago. Lin Yuyan's firearms expert talent, not only can she fully maintain firearms, but she also has sharp shooting insight. Her shooting accuracy is much higher than ordinary people, relying on the police station's solid fortifications. If ammunition is sufficient, the zombie army can't get in either. Captain, we can't just stand by and do nothing. That strong person can easily take down zombies. If we go help him, we'll make friends with a strong person. In this apocalypse, we'll also have someone to rely on. Lin Yuyan explained her analysis calmly. Captain Shouho nodded. I agree with Yuyan's opinion. Now we'll go out to save them. Zhang Hao didn't hesitate. Issuing the order cleanly and neatly, the other team members didn't hesitate either, following Zhang Hao's footsteps out of the police station's gate. But the moment they stepped out of the gate, a terrifying scene unfolded outside. 5 red-haired zombies surrounded the 3 of us, and more red-haired zombies were gathering behind them. After going through a big battle, my body had entered a state of exhaustion, and I had no energy left to summon my combat companions, only holding 2 thunder knives in my hands. The red-haired zombies suddenly slammed their big palms down. I held the dual knives and dodged around, slashing and chopping off many zombies' hands, but there were still some that slipped through the net. I used my agility to dodge nimbly again. With a loud boom, the zombie's palm slammed into the ground. Immediately, a 10-meter palm print appeared on the ground. Power-type zombies really live up to their reputation. Seeing the palm print, I couldn't help feeling a little scared, but I already had a plan to deal with it. Knowing their weakness is that they're very slow, several escaped red zombies were about to pull back their hands. I immediately bent down and swung my knife again. Immediately, their rotten heads fell to the ground. In the blink of an eye, I had taken care of these red-haired zombies. Just as I was about to continue forward, a cry for help came from behind. "Kuishu, save me! Please save me quickly!" Yanzi let out shrill screams from behind. Taking advantage of the gap after killing the red zombies, I turned my head to look behind, only to see an unexpected scene. Zombies covered in yellow fur grabbed Yanzi's thigh tightly, while Yanzi clung tightly to Kuishu's arm. Behind Yanzi, a group of zombies of different colors were already stirring, preparing to swarm over. Kuishu, only at rank 1, stood there dumbfounded and helpless. I didn't hesitate. With a decisive swing of my thunder knife, I cut off the arm that Yanzi was holding on to Kuishu's. The bloody severed arm fell to the ground. Yanzi's wails reached their peak at this moment. I'm afraid they could be heard from 100 miles away. Kuishui stood there dumbfounded, staring blankly at what was happening in front of her. Before she could figure it out, I grabbed her hand, not even glancing at Yanzi again. I immediately turned around and rushed towards the alley ahead. "I won't let you go!" Yanzi shouted angrily, but it was only a short cry. Before she was pounced on by many zombies, her blood was completely drained. Many zombies' levels increased. In the end, she turned into an unconscious zombie monster, following the footsteps of the high-level zombies, chasing in the direction I fled. Seeing this scene, the few people who had just stepped out of the gate trembled, looking at me in disbelief. This person is actually so cold-blooded and ruthless, he doesn't even care about his own teammates. Was our choice too hasty? One of the 6 people said coldly, disliking my way of abandoning my companion. "Captain, this guy is probably an ungrateful person. We shouldn't go support him." Hu Jifei rubbed his painful palm, feeling a slight stinging in his eyes. He rubbed his eyes again. Before telling everyone his thoughts, the other team members echoed Hu Jifei's proposal one after another. Captain Zhang Hao suppressed everyone's dissatisfaction, then asked his team members in return, "If we don't save him, then our hope of getting out alive is gone. Do you want to become those ugly and disgusting zombies?" Seeing everyone fall silent, Captain Zhang Hao immediately gave another order. "If no one has objections, then let's all charge together." Holding Kuishui's hand, I ran towards the alley at full speed. As soon as I entered the alley, I saw 6 figures emerging from the police station ahead. They were wearing their original uniforms, holding guns in their hands, crouching down and scanning their surroundings with their eyes. Their movements were extremely skilled. It was obvious that they trained diligently on a daily basis, exuding a cold and murderous aura. But I also saw that, behind them, many zombies were gathering. Converging from other places, it seemed like the zombies were endless. I even suspected if I had walked into a zombie tide. I ran quickly behind Zhang Hao. Immediately, Zhang Hao ordered people on both sides to open fire, slowly escorting us into the police station. The guns let out beast-like roars. Bullets poured down like a storm. Continuous sounds of bullets piercing bodies rang out. Under the dense hail of bullets, the zombies' bodies were riddled with holes. Their bones were even shattered. Their heads were smashed to pieces as if gnawed by dogs. In the end, all of them fell to the ground without exception. Soon, everyone returned to the police station. The other team members held their guns and guarded the police station's gate. At this moment, Hu Jifei among the crowd looked at me, and the others, having the urge to take a bite out of someone, he also felt his teeth seemingly growing. His eyes became redder and redder. His consciousness became increasingly muddled. Before he could completely turn into a zombie, only a puffed sound was heard. My purple blade pierced through his body. Hu Jifei stared at me dumbfounded. "Why did you kill Jifei? We don't welcome you here. Get out of here quickly! If you don't give us a reasonable explanation, We won't let you go even if we have to fight to the death. For a moment, the other police station personnel shouted angrily. Only Lin Yuyan and Captain Zhang Hao kept their cool. The two of them quietly checked Hu Zhifei's body. Both couldn't help but be shocked. They saw Hu Zhifei's eyes were scarlet. His teeth were growing to the length of fangs. Parts of the skin on his face had already started to rot. After checking, they both looked at me simultaneously.